Welcome to a journey through the United Kingdom's most haunted hotels. From eerie encounters with shadowy figures to spine-chilling whispers echoing through ancient hallways, these hotels hold tales of tragedy, betrayal, and restless spirits. Prepare yourself for ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and the lingering sense that something, or someone, is always watching. 1. The Langham Hotel, London, England. The Langham Hotel in London holds an air of opulence, but beneath its luxurious facade lies a chilling history. The most notorious haunt is room 333, where many have reported seeing the spectral figure of a man dressed in Victorian-era clothing. His eyes are described as dark pits of sorrow, his mouth silently screaming as he drifts toward guests before dissipating into thin air. This apparition is believed to be the ghost of a German prince who met a tragic end by leaping from a window. In the corridors, guests have encountered the fleeting vision of a man in military uniform, a ghost rumored to be a high-ranking officer who died by his own hand after failing in a mission. The temperature in room 333 plummets abruptly, as if an icy hand were clutching at the air. Whispered voices, unintelligible yet eerily persistent, often accompany the shadows that dance along the walls. Late at night, an unexplainable sense of dread falls upon the bravest of souls, as if the very walls of the Langham hold dark secrets waiting to be unearthed. 2. The Mermaid Inn, Rye, England. Stepping into the Mermaid Inn feels like crossing a threshold into the past, a time of secrets, violence, and betrayal. This ancient inn, with its low-beamed ceilings and hidden passageways, was once a smuggler's den, and the echoes of that sinister past linger in its halls. Guests report spectral duels in the dead of night, the clash of phantom swords breaking the silence. The combatants are never seen in full, only flickering images of shadowy men locked in a deadly dance before fading into the walls. In room 16, the ghost of a lady dressed in a flowing white gown has been seen, silently gliding across the room before vanishing near the fireplace. She is thought to be the spirit of a woman wronged by the smugglers, forever bound to the place where her life was taken. The heavy atmosphere is punctuated by the sound of footsteps, echoing in empty hallways and sudden drops in temperature, as if icy fingers brush the skin of unsuspecting guests. The Black Swan Hotel, Devizes, England. The Black Swan Hotel is an elegant establishment, but its past is marred by tragedy. Guests often speak of a young woman seen sitting by the fireplace, her face hidden beneath a cascade of dark hair. She remains motionless, her head bowed in sorrow, before fading into the shadows. The tale goes that she was a maid who took her own life after being jilted by a lover. At night, the echo of footsteps can be heard in the corridors, and doors creak open by unseen hands. In the upper floors, guests report feeling watched, their skin prickling with the unmistakable sensation of eyes following their every move. There is also the ghost of a gentleman in a top hat, who strolls through the corridors only to disappear at the top of the stairs. His apparition is accompanied by the scent of cigar smoke and an overwhelming sense of melancholy. Those who spend the night at the Black Swan often leave with tales of an oppressive, lingering presence that refuses to let them forget the tragedies sealed within its walls. 4. Dalhousie Castle, Bonnyrigg, Scotland. Dalhousie Castle's imposing exterior hides the tale of a love so intense that it defied death itself. The Grey Lady of Dalhousie, believed to be the spirit of Lady Catherine, has roamed the halls since the 16th century. Lady Catherine was said to have died of a broken heart after being forbidden to see her lover. Her presence is felt most strongly in the dungeons and the spiral staircase, where guests report feeling an icy breath on their necks and hearing mournful sighs in the silence. Some have seen the spectral figure of a woman in gray, her eyes filled with unfulfilled longing as she gazes at them before disappearing around corners. Visitors have also experienced objects moving of their own accord and sudden drops in temperature. The castle's ancient walls seem to echo with the sorrow of a love that was never meant to be, and those who wander its halls are left with an inexplicable sense of loss. 5. Ruthin Castle, Denbighshire, Wales. Ruthin Castle's opulent halls are haunted by the spirit of a woman known as the Grey Lady. She is believed to be Lady Grey, a noble woman who was executed in the castle grounds for the murder of her husband's lover. Her restless spirit is often seen wandering the chapel, her expression one of eternal torment. Guests have reported cold drafts passing through them, even when all windows are shut, and a heavy, suffocating presence lingers in the rooms. Whispers echo through the castle's ancient corridors, often accompanied by the faint rustling of a dress brushing against stone floors. Some have even seen the Grey Lady standing at the foot of their beds, her eyes reflecting the torment of a soul forever haunted by her deeds. Ruthin Castle's grandeur is undercut by the constant sense of being watched, as if the ghosts of the past are still judging those who walk its halls. The George and Pilgrims Hotel, Glastonbury, England. The George and Pilgrims Hotel, with its medieval facade, is steeped in legends of hauntings that date back centuries. One of its most famous spirits is a monk, who is often seen silently drifting through the corridors. His face is obscured by a hood, and he emanates an intense feeling of sorrow. Some say he was a monk who broke his vows and was cursed to wander the halls for eternity. Guests have also reported seeing the ghost of a noble woman dressed in white, appearing at the foot of their beds and disappearing in an instant. A cold, inexplicable breeze often follows these sightings, and strange knocking sounds can be heard in empty rooms. The hotel's ancient architecture seems to amplify the sense of otherworldly presence, making even the bravest of guests wary of lingering too long in its shadowy corners. 7. The Drovers Inn, Inverarnon, Scotland. The Drovers Inn is a time capsule of eerie tales and ancient spirits. Known for its dark, rustic charm, this inn has seen over 300 years of history. One of the most unsettling stories is that of a young girl who drowned in the nearby river. Her ghost is often seen in the upstairs hallway, her soaked, tattered dress clinging to her ghostly frame. Guests report hearing a child's giggle in the dead of night, followed by the light padding of bare feet across the creaking wooden floor. But when they investigate, they find the hallway empty. The staff tell of a room that never warms, no matter the roaring fire in the hearth. There, an oppressive chill hangs in the air, and visitors speak of the sensation of cold, clammy fingers brushing their arms. Those who linger in this room often feel a sudden sadness wash over them, as if reliving the final moments of a child lost to the icy waters. 8. The Skirrid Mountain Inn, Llanfihangel Crwcorny, Wales. The Skirrid Mountain Inn, one of Wales' oldest inns, bears the weight of its gruesome past. Over 180 executions were reportedly carried out here, and the souls of the condemned are said to linger still. The most notable specter is that of an executioner, who is felt as an invisible force tightening around the throats of the unsuspecting. Guests wake up gasping for breath, clutching their throats as if the noose had returned to claim them. On the staircase, shadowy figures are seen, their heads bowed in eternal resignation. In the ancient oak beams of the inn, some claim to hear the creaking of a rope, the echo of a hanging long past. The spirits of those executed are said to roam the building, silently weeping and pleading for mercy. The air in the inn is thick with history, and every creak and sigh of the building seems to carry the weight of forgotten guilt and punishment. The Jamaica Inn, Cornwall, England. The Jamaica Inn, known for its dark connection to smuggling and nefarious activities, is one of the most haunted places in Cornwall. The inn has been a witness to violent deaths and dark deeds, and the spirits of smugglers and travelers still haunt its halls. The most famous specter is a shadowy figure that appears in the bar area, dressed in a tricorn hat and long coat. He sits silently at a table before fading away into thin air. Guests report hearing disembodied voices conversing in the Cornish dialect, the words unintelligible but heavy with urgency. Footsteps echo in the corridors, and the distant clinking of glass resonates, even when no one is there. On stormy nights, travelers often hear the ghostly sound of horses' hooves on the cobblestones outside, only to look out and see nothing but the howling wind. The inn's dark past seems ever present, like a shadow lingering just out of sight. The Feathers Hotel, Ludlow, England. The Feathers Hotel, a half-timbered building that dates back to the early 17th century, is not just famous for its beauty, but also for its hauntings. The most well-known ghost is that of an elderly woman who appears in the upper windows staring blankly at passers-by below. She is thought to be the spirit of a woman who died heartbroken and alone within the hotel's walls. At night, guests hear the faint strains of music coming from the empty ballroom, where the ghostly couple is seen dancing, their feet barely touching the ground. In the guest rooms, many report being awoken by the sensation of cold hands pressing down on their chests, and some even see a shadowy figure lurking at the foot of their beds. The Feathers Hotel holds an eerie silence, as if the spirits themselves are waiting for something to change, a past wrong to be righted, or a story left unfinished. 11. The King's Arms, Dorchester, England. The King's Arms exudes history and echoes with the whispers of its many hauntings. Built in the 18th century, the inn has witnessed the passage of time and the spirits left in its wake. One of the most unsettling stories is that of a stable boy who tragically died after being thrown from his horse. His ghost is said to linger in the stables and the corridors leading to the upper floors. Guests have reported the sound of horses neighing and the feeling of a cold, spectral hand on their shoulder. Footsteps echo on the stone floors, accompanied by the soft whinny of a horse that never comes into view. Staff often find objects mysteriously moved, and glasses fall from shelves without reason. The atmosphere of the King's Arms is heavy with memories of past tragedies, and the sense of being watched is ever present, making even the bravest guests second-guess their courage. 12. The Bull Hotel, Long Melford, England. The Bull Hotel, with its distinctive timbered exterior, is steeped in stories of haunting. The most prominent spirit is that of Richard Everard, a former owner whose stern visage is often seen lingering in the bar area. Richard appears as a distinguished figure, his eyes sharp with an intensity that unnerves guests. He's not the only lingering spirit. Many report the fleeting figure of a young servant girl who is said to have died in a fire many years ago. She appears in brief glimpses, her face a mask of terror before vanishing. Guests and staff alike have heard inexplicable footsteps in empty corridors and have witnessed glasses and plates crashing to the ground without cause. The Bull Hotel feels alive with the weight of its past, a place where the line between the living and the dead seems dangerously thin. 13. The Bell Hotel, Thetford, England. The Bell Hotel is notorious for its unsettling encounters with the otherworldly. Its most well-known ghost is the Phantom Monk, who is seen silently moving through the corridors. Witnesses describe him as a tall, hooded figure, his face obscured by darkness, appearing and vanishing without a sound. It's said he was a monk who met a violent end in the 15th century. There's also a lady in white, often seen gliding through the hallways late at night. Some guests have claimed to see her in their rooms, standing at the foot of the bed, her face contorted in a silent scream. The Bell's eerie history is amplified by reports of cold spots, sudden chills, and the sensation of someone breathing on the back of one's neck. Staff have also experienced glasses shattering on their own, and doors slamming shut in empty rooms. The oppressive atmosphere leaves many feeling as though they are never truly alone within the hotel's ancient walls. The Old Ship Hotel, Brighton, England. The Old Ship Hotel, one of the oldest hotels in Brighton, has long been shrouded in tales of ghostly encounters. Built in 1559, It stands on the site of a former inn that once catered to smugglers and sailors. The most famous specter is that of a sailor who met a tragic end during a fierce storm at sea. Guests have reported seeing his ghost wandering the hotel's hallways, often dressed in tattered clothing, gazing longingly out at the ocean from the window. He is sometimes accompanied by the sound of crashing waves and the faint whispers of old sea shanties. Some visitors claim to feel a sudden chill in the air, as if the spirit is brushing against them. In the room known as the Admiral's Suite, guests have experienced strange phenomena: lights flickering, doors creaking open on their own, and a sensation of being watched. The hotel's bar is another hotspot for paranormal activity, where patrons have reported glasses moving of their own accord and the distinct sound of boots echoing on the wooden floors. The Old Ship Hotel is a place where the stories of the sea meet the whispers of the past, leaving an indelible mark on those who stay. 15. The Talbot Hotel, Oundle, England. The Talbot Hotel, known for its historical significance, is also infamous for its ghostly activity. The most notorious spirit is that of Mary, Queen of Scots, whose connection to the hotel dates back to her imprisonment and eventual execution. The hotel was built using the staircase from Fotheringhay Castle, where Mary spent her final days, and it is believed her spirit followed the staircase to its new location. Guests report the sound of a woman weeping in the night, her voice filled with despair. Some even claim to have seen Mary's ghost descending the staircase, her face pale and her eyes filled with sorrow. In the upper floors, guests have felt a chilling hand brush against them and seen fleeting shadows darting along the walls. The atmosphere is thick with a sense of mourning, as if the past is ever present, lingering just beyond the reach of the living. Staff and visitors alike speak of an inexplicable heaviness that hangs over the hotel, leaving an indelible mark on those who dare to stay. These haunted hotels in the UK offer more than just a place to stay. They provide a glimpse into the paranormal. Whether you seek the thrill of an eerie encounter or simply want to explore the darker side of history, these locations are bound to leave a haunting impression. But remember, if you dare to visit, you may leave with more than just memories. Perhaps a story of your own encounter with the unknown.